Welcome to Abundance Recoded. Today, I am here to share a little story or an image of what I received last night while listening to someone else's transmission. And I get these quite often as I listen to them, and they show me things that go beyond the message, gives us a different way of looking at things. And I think it's an important image to share because it's important for the time that we're in. So last night I was listening to something about being loyal to your old identity. And in that, I was shown a game board. Now, for a long time I would see Monopoly or the game of life, and felt really stuck on it. But last night the game board changed. It was Candyland. And if you grew up in the 80s, 90s, or maybe even the 70s, I have no idea how old the game Candyland actually is. It's a children's game that was full of gumdrops and candy canes and lollipops, and it was just fun to play. It was about colors and moving spaces, and I loved to play that game as a child. Now, I will admit I have played it with my nieces and nephews since, and I don't know what they've done to it, or I'm not remembering it quite correctly because it just didn't seem quite as fun. But as an adult, I'm not seeing through children's eyes, so that well could be it. But back to the vision that I received. Part of this transmission was, what if you just chose to experience knowing that you've already won the game? Instead of trying to figure out how to win the game, how to move each space, what you need to do to move each space through strategy, goal setting, all the things. What if you just decided that game that you've been playing since you were young, you've already won, and that you're reaping the rewards for doing so? And when she said that piece, my game board changed. I was like off the game board somewhere. I didn't even have a game board. I was just dancing, which is that celebration energy. But the thing that I want to really share with you about this, because then I was shown how the collective is playing the game. And life is nothing but a game. It's a story we all have been told that then we retell it ourselves, and it becomes an energy of a game. But what they showed me was this giant game board. You can choose whatever you want, whatever version of game you want to think it as. It doesn't matter. They were showing me something like Candyland, but the Candyland graphics had disappeared. All I could see was this like wavy start to end at first. And at start, there's a large group of people or souls who are standing there holding such beautiful ideas, expressions, creativity, knowledge, inventions, new things that are still unwilling to move, afraid to take that first step onto the first space on this game board. And when I asked why all that beautiful energy isn't moving onto this start space, and I heard, well, they don't think they know enough. They don't think they're good enough. They're waiting for the perfect time. They want everything to be perfect so that when they land on that space, they can't fail. And we have so much around failure. Afraid of failing is actually keeping you from living. If you never take this step and you never actually try the thing, How do you know you're going to fail? It's like we're putting the cart in front of the horse. It's like, I won't move unless I know I won't fail. But you are the creator of your reality. You get to choose that, but also know that it may not be perfect, and that's okay. You have to move with the energy of it. You're not going to know what lies beyond that next space until you're willing to take that first step. And yes, it's going to be scary, especially if you've been standing on start for so long that it's become normal and you keep putting it off. Oh, the next day, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. I'll do it when I have more time. I'll do it when I have the money. All these things prevent you from actually moving into this space. Now, this space isn't necessarily even from a human element, meaning like maybe you're looking at starting a business, or you have an idea, creative idea, or something you want to invent or bring into the world. From a human aspect, yes, but these spaces that I'm being shown are your soul's expression. How your soul wants to express through you. But on the start space, you're letting your human override your soul's intuition. This is where we get into the mind. Your soul moves from the heart. Your intuition, everything really comes from that, but you feel it in your belly, in your stomach. It's just how the human is responding to the message or knowledge that your heart is giving to the human body. And right now we're being asked to go beyond that, because that's the projection machine, and it's trying to tell you that you're not going to be safe if you move on to that next square, or that you're going to fail. And your nervous system and mind and body will do everything to prevent failure, because we've been taught that it's bad. That failure somehow makes you less than who you are. It makes you not enough. And we need to move past that. Find a way to heal the wounds around failure. Whether it was when you were a child and you failed a test, or maybe you didn't even fail, but your parents saw a B or a C as failing. You have some things to clear out of your nervous system so it doesn't keep trying to hold you back. Or, even better, you can choose to no longer identify with those stories. They are not who you are. And choose to move to that first space and let your soul express whatever it's been nudging you, maybe not so gently, to move with. It wants to give you everything beyond your imagination, a life that makes your heart sing. But it can't do it if you're not willing to move on to that first space and just see what happens. You have to move with the heart. That space has been literally sparkling and waiting for you to take that first step for years. And this energy that we're in right now is demanding that we move with our soul's expression. What if moving in your soul's expression solved, 70% of your problems in your life? Would it be worth it, or do you need a whole 100? Eventually, it will help with all of it, but you have to move with it. You can't look for the guarantee that the money's going to be there, or the love, or the success, or you have to move as if you already know it's done. You have to step onto that space on the board. The time for staying on start is over. This energy that we're in, this fire horse energy of 2026, the second half, is about movement. The fire horse doesn't stay stationary. It doesn't sit on start. It moves. Fire moves. I want you to think of fire. If it wasn't contained in a campfire or on a stove, it would spread. It doesn't hold stationary. In fact, none of the elements do, because now they're showing me water and air and how they all move. Nature moves. Nature never stays still. Even those days when there's no wind, the water still moves in the stream. The energy of fire, which isn't just the physical fire that we know, always moves in the air. Electricity. And even the air moves when you can't feel the breeze. We are meant for movement. Our soul came for that movement. But because of all the performative conditioning that we have been taught from a young age, we are afraid to move. We're afraid to fail. We're afraid to look dumb, to look stupid, to look silly. What will other people think? And we cannot think about that anymore. Your soul does not care. But at some point you've experienced being laughed at, maybe bullied, made fun of for your ideas or your differentness, and we need to get past that. That is your soul's expression. And there's this ask in this month to move with the energy of it. How you've been holding yourself at start hasn't worked. So today, choose to move with it. Express it in some way. It doesn't have to be a big move. In fact, that first space from start isn't a big move. It's just allowing yourself to play with the nudge or dream about what it would be to be able to live doing whatever that is. Whatever your unique gift is or idea. Maybe it's drawing it out, writing it out, dreaming about it, playing with the idea of it. Your soul knows what that next step is, but I feel like it wants you to make the first move. Show it that you're finally ready to listen, to allow it to stream through you and give you the steps. Now, I want to talk a bit about those of us who are in the middle of the board, and I have spent time here myself. So I don't want this to be like, I definitely have been at the start place, but for a long time I was in this middle place. And when they showed me this, there's a lot of people like mid place where they have followed their soul, but they're like stuck. And this can be true for the start as well. And instead of following our soul's expression onto that next space, there's all these other paths outside of ourselves that veer off in other directions, that then go way out to the right or left, who might make it back to the end place. And that's strategy. This idea that you need a strategy before you can move to the next space. You need to understand what your goals are, what you're going to get out of it, what the outcome and result is. Needing a funnel if you're in business before you move. And all of these things just delay. Your soul already knows your strategy, for lack of a better term. And you need to honor that. Start each day and ask what wants to be expressed through me and move with that energy instead of trying to use your mind to figure out what your heart actually already knows. This path, this game board path, this squiggly line I can see, kind of like Candyland, is your soul's full expression. But we overthink it. We overgive. We look for permission from outside of us to move. We have other people tell us how much we're valued, how much we can get for things, how much I can receive in salary, how much I can charge for a client. And all of that stuff puts your soul on the back burner. Your soul does not care about any of those things. It literally has the plan already and always has for you to be able to just move and receive. You follow the creative expression that is your soul. And I will more than likely do a podcast around creativity because there's a lot there to talk about. But because if you cringed on that word, I understand why. And I really want to hit that piece, but not during this. Your soul's expression, first and foremost, is through your breath. So in every moment, you are expressing your soul every time you breathe. But there's something else that wants to move through you with that soul. And we're really here to follow that. And then there is no game board. You're not trying to compete for a space on the game board. You're not trying to get any money, or you're not trying to find permission, or making sure you're good enough, or it's time, or all the excuses that we come up for with ourselves, or whether we look from other people. None of that exists because the soul moves and none of that matters. The soul is the designer of your reality. No one else can design it for you unless you believe they can. And because of conditioning, we have been led to believe that, but really your soul is your design. And that is what gets to design your life. What if you just allowing your soul to move through you, to express in the way you are naturally designed to, whatever that looks like, and life became better, easier, in flow, as many people would say in the spiritual industry, or niche, whatever you want to call it, where what you ask for, you receive, where nobody else is holding anything that you want, you have it. And life just gets to happen, and you get to have fun, and you get to live in every moment. And you get to express yourself in however way feels natural to you. I understand that natural part may feel really small right now and scary because he or she has been buried for so long that it feels unsafe to even open the closet door just a little, or open the deep shadow she's in deep within you. That part of you will no longer hide. That part of you is pushing against what I'll call the armor, which is your body. And it wants out. It wants to be fully expressed. If you need permission, Source is giving you permission. That's the only permission you need. You don't need it from anyone else, except for maybe yourself. Can you give yourself permission to just play with the energy that you came here to express? That your soul came here to express? To live and experience, to have fun and joy, abundance, peace, love, every single moment, excitement. That is all available for every single one of us. But it doesn't start outside of ourselves. It doesn't start with us playing this game that we've been taught from a young age, that's been being passed from generation to generation. That does not lead there. Yes, for a small group of people, it has worked for them. But for most people, you're somewhere on the game board trying to figure out how those people won the game. But here's the secret. They won the game because they understand how their soul moves. They move as if they're designed. They don't overthink. They get an idea and they move. They know that they have already won before they've moved. It's not the strategy. It's not the how they did it or when they did it or who they talked to, unless that's part of their design. It's because when they got the idea, they moved with it. They let it express through them the way that works best for who they are designed as. Not because they have some magic pill that they can give every one of us. Sure, they can teach their way, and many of them do, but if you're like me, who has tried a gazillion of these, they never work because they're not compatible with my design. You just can't slapstick stuff together from other people and think it's going to work. You have to move from your soul's expression. They're saying this is why the game is so dangerous, because so many people get misled by this beautiful rainbow and unicorns, because these people who are making millions of dollars or in business or even in corporate America, and we think if we just do it like them, we'll get there. But then you are trying to get yourself to live by their game. And their game is not wrong. It's just not right for you because it's not designed to your soul's specialty. You have a soul unique way of either seeing reality, moving in reality, that is unique to you, that no one else can express. So you have to stop trying to play someone else's game because you think that they have the magic pill, and if I just do it like them, then I will have everything like they do. It just doesn't work that way. And if you have already experienced this, you know. The answer is not to find another technique or another strategy or another goal setting or another mindset strategy. The whole thing is to remember your own designs, totally scrap their game board, and choose to live as the soul you meant to, the soul version that you're meant to be, and express based on that design on your own game board. That's the strategy, the winning strategy, if you will. But it takes a little bit of grit and compassion for yourself and patience to break away from the game board that you've been playing on without knowing it for years. So there's nothing wrong with those people who have made the millions doing what they love. And you can have it too. But you can't necessarily do it the way they do it because it's not naturally who you are. It's like you're trying to be, you're trying to be a peach when you're an apple. If let's just, you randomly pick somebody that you, I don't want to say admire, but you would like to be, let's say, at the income level of, or the lifestyle of. Well, they're an apple and you're a peach. Still fruits, right? Still human. But taste different, grow at different times of the year. Peaches are June, apples fall. Peaches have fuzz on the outside. Apples have obviously not fuzz. They're a different shape, different core and seeds inside. So you cannot win by forcing yourself to be an apple if you're a peach. That just doesn't work. So today's message is, can you stop forcing and chasing someone else's tail, hoping that it will get you what you want if you just do everything that they do? Or today, can you choose, and this is all it takes, I'm done with that. I'm ready to remember how my soul expresses what the design is so that I can actually have what I want. it'd be easier. I won't have to work as much or as hard, because when you go against the grain of who you are, it's hard work. Grueling. It's not supposed to be meant that way. Your soul didn't come here just to work 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 or 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day. That is not at all what it came here for. You have to give yourself permission to break from that game board of whoever's tail you're chasing. They got where they are because they moved based on their soul's design, even if they didn't know it. And many of them probably don't. They had an idea and they followed the energy, and they were successful because they moved as if they are designed. You can do the same thing, but you can't do it by their blueprint. You have to follow your own path. It doesn't mean that you can't look at their stuff and feel into which pieces might work for you to figure it out, but that's using your mind. And your soul does not use your mind, it uses your heart. The heart is the guiding force. And it might tell you that you need to go build a funnel or get a new job or go back to school. It may tell you that. I'm not saying that those human ways of getting ahead are wrong. It's just not all of them are right for you. Every time I move to do something different in my business, especially now that I've really tapped into this, I have to move as my soul's design and stop trying to do it like everyone else. It's never worked for me. It won't ever work for me, and I understand why now. And someone says, you should use X tool. I never say yes. I always go, is that in alignment with my soul's design? Because if it's not, it's only going to piss me off. And literally, when I use tools now that are not in my soul's design, the anger is palatable. My jaw hurts, everything just gets tense because the energy of that tool isn't necessarily wrong for someone else, but it's not right for me. And I've learned to honor that. And I will only use tools that I feel are in my design. So we really need to stop trying to do it like everyone else. Figure out their strategy. What did they do to get there? And if I just do this, then this is going to work for me too. Sure, you can do that. But if you have found that you were left with nowhere near what you had hoped to get out of it, or left you wanting still, or it didn't feel right, it's because you didn't do it the way you were designed. Every day through this soul expression, you're supposed to feel excitement and alive as you move through, not when you get to the goal. So today, the ask is, are you ready to move as your soul designed you to? And know that that may look very different than how everyone else is doing it, and be okay with it. If not, that's a nervous system and mind thing. You really need to go, I'm not listening to the prediction machine. Like, I know this is what I need to do, and I'm doing it because my soul is calling me to do it, not because someone outside of you has said this is how they did it, and this is how I need to do it too. And that cycle needs to be broken. You need to be okay with being different. You were made to be different, every single one of us. Can you make that choice today? Are you ready to follow your soul? Make life easier. Have excitement and joy every day, the freedom and peace to live as your soul actually desires on a level that you cannot even imagine yourself. It can be yours, but you need to make that choice, and that choice is literally in your hands. That's it for now. We'll talk later.